So I touched the power button and it blacked out the screen, and I got kicked out of this app, and I just re-entered and tried to mark down this part by word of mouth. And Sequoyah realized something profound. His people's knowledge was vulnerable. One generation's death could mean centuries of wisdom lost forever. So he decided to do something about it. His friends thought he was wasting his time. His wife, frustrated by his obsession, already allegedly burned his early work. Critics mocked him. How could an illiterate man create a writing system? Even linguists with formal education struggled with such tasks. But Sequoyah had something scholars didn't. He understood his own language intimately from the inside. For 12 years, he worked. He tried representing whole words with symbols, too many to remember. He experimented with pictographs, too complex and limiting. Others would have given up. Instead, he had a breakthrough. Rather than symbols for words or ideas, he would create symbols for sounds. He broke the Cherokee language down into its component syllables and created a character for each one. 85 characters. That's all it took. 85 symbols that could represent every sound in the Cherokee language. In 1821, Sequoyah presented his syllabary to Cherokee leaders. Syllabary, right? Syllabary. They were skeptical, so he demonstrated. He had his daughter, who learned the system, in another room. Sequoyah would write down messages the leaders gave him, and his daughter would read them aloud perfectly, despite not hearing the original words. The leaders were stunned. The system worked. What happened next was extraordinary. Within months, thousands of Cherokee people learned to read and write their own language. Literacy rates exploded. People who'd never held a pen were writing letters, keeping records, preserving their stories. By 1825, much of the Cherokee Nation was literate, a higher literacy rate in their own language than English literacy rates among white settlers. In 1828, that's a good feat, right? Feast. In 1828, the Cherokee Phoenix became the first Native American newspaper, published in both Cherokee and English using Sequoyah's syllabary. Think about what he accomplished. Sequoyah, working alone without formal education, created a writing system so elegant and intuitive that thousands learned it within months. Linguists consider this one of the greatest intellectual achievements in human history. Only a handful of writing systems have ever been created by a single person, and Sequoiah's is the only one with such immediate and widespread success. But here's what makes his story even more powerful. He did this during one of the darkest periods in Cherokee history. Pressure from settlers was mounting. The U.S. That's good. All right. Pressure from settlers were mounting. The U.S. government was demanding Cherokee land. Forced removal was becoming inevitable. In that moment of existential crisis, Sequoyah gave his people something no one could take away. the ability to preserve their language, their knowledge, their identity in a form that could survive displacement. When the Trail of Tears came in 1838, when the Cherokee were forcibly marched from their homeland with thousands dying along the way, they carried Sequoyah's slavery with them. They lost their land, they lost their homes, they lost family members, but they didn't lose their language. Because of Sequoyah's invention, Cherokee could be written down, taught to children, published in newspapers and books. Their language survived forced removal, survived cultural suppression, survived generations of pressure to assimilate. Today, the Cherokee syllabary is still used. Really? It's taught in schools, appears on road signs in Cherokee Nation, lives in digital fonts on computers and phones. You can text in Cherokee because a silversmith in the 1800s refused to let his language exist only in memory. Sequoyah never learned to read or write English. He didn't need to. He created something far more valuable, a way for his people to read and write themselves. In a world that was trying to erase Cherokee identity, he invented a tool for preserving it forever. That's not just innovation, that's resistance, that's survival. That's love for people and a language made tangible. His name is Sequoyah, and he gave the Cherokee people something that could never be taken away, their own words, written in their own hand, preserved for all time. He couldn't read or write, so he invented an entire writing system instead. He looks like a fugitive, right, in the Western movie. Or maybe he's a John Depp on land. But Sequoyah was a great guy who invented a linguistic system. And it was an instant success and widely accepted by his people. Before I close this article, I would like to go over the expressions that I marked to be remembered, right? By word of mouth. By word of mouth. Pressure was mounting. Pressure from settlers was mounting. Well, is that all I've got? Here. Pressure from settlers was mounting. Right? That's it. Thanks for listening and have a great day. Bye-bye.